Right. Come on, find the game. There we go, found it. Awesome. Hello, welcome back to Kerbal Space Program Science Mode Part 41. Continuation of Moho. We've successfully landed. Spoilers if you haven't seen the previous installment. Managed to successfully land on the engines because the landing gear helpfully forgot how it worked. But we were in a sort of stable position on Moho, so we're going to continue with the Moho mission. So the plan is to do the Roverdrive, see if we can find another biome, see if we can find that surface feature to scan, and then hopefully return to orbit, rendezvous with the main ship, and then if we do that, then we have enough time after that before the Eve transfer window. I have come up with an idea for an Eve return mission, which I've sort of sketched out in my notepad. Which I'm going to see if we might have time for like 1 or 2 test launches around Kerbin for the actual Eve return ship and the landing thing, because that's a bit I'm not that sure about. But if we get to that, we'll get to that. We might start on that today, but we shall load the game nonetheless, because we have to hopefully have a bit of fun driving around this rover, and hopefully because we're not using the parallax collisions, it'll look weird, we'll be drifting through the ground, but hopefully we can actually drive. Still want to check this. Eve is still in 2 days, so I think we might have time for 1 launch, because obviously we can take as long as we want designing ships, because game time doesn't elapse when you do that. But we will go to the tracking station. We shall find. We don't want this. I don't remember the state of this in each different screen, maybe. Where is the Moho lander? The one that's not landed at the Mun. Moho lander 2 landed at Moho. Right, let's hope the Kraken doesn't kill this when we load in. Or kill the rover. And we've got 1 set of science, so not the end of the world if things do explode. But we are alive. The rover is currently brakes engaged, not moving. That is good. So yeah, what are we looking for? Because we wanted to go away from the crater. And we want to head for that there. So let's switch back to the lander itself, because these guys have been chilling only for a few minutes from their perspective, but since Thursday from ours, been chilling in the little lander. So let's get our let's get them out and set them on the way. So we'll get the pilot out first. He's going to sit in the middle like command chair. Then we're going to give the engineer a couple of repair kits just in case. I feel like it's probably more sensible if these guys give me the yeah, let's lower the visor. I mean, I think they should have their visors down, because it is incredibly bright sunshine this close to the sun, so I feel like it would be more realistic if they were visors down for this. So we're going to go for a little drive. Hopefully we can board this. There we go, so that's him. Let's grab the... Barrowman as our engineer, so the engineer is going to have a couple of these on her, just in case we need them. So short that EVA, and we shall leave the lander. We're hopefully not going to venture too far away, but we will go for a wheel drive. And then when it comes to taking off again, I'm going to try using, because we've got 500 meters of delta V in the bottom, in the lower section, and again the upper section I think has delta V, but obviously the game doesn't think that, so yeah, it's lower the visor. shall sit you in the, hopefully, the right hand, like so. I'll switch back to the U, and then we just have Macfred, who is going to also join the others. We're also going to lower his visor again, which is a very bright sunny day. And so the days are very long on Moho as well, because Moho rotates very slowly. But yes, hopefully we shall be able to collect some science from a different biome. Right. Yep. Board the chat. Right, they're all aboard. So what we will do is, if we hit U, does that turn? Yeah, that turns the lights on, which is all good, I think. And again, that shouldn't be consuming much power at all, because right. So we are wanting to go over there. So we're wanting to go like straight that way. And we'll keep an eye on the biome as well, see if that changes. But very carefully go for. This is the direction we want to go in. Don't need to go so too fast. So we're going to have to turn around and back up to the. It's over there. Keep in mind out because yeah, the ground isn't necessarily going to be. But we have the control the reaction wheel to right ourselves if we do go over, which is entirely possible. But don't want to go too fast. Some of these service features may not be so intangible. Might as well give this a little photo opportunity. Rotate back around again so that we're this is quite good because like our surface velocity is going down, so we're not like running away. Still in the minor craters biome, but we'll see if that changes by the time we get out there. Tends to be a lot more difficult if the collisions were turned on, because otherwise, like it seems to be like barely even drivable. But obviously, you'd have to keep an eye out for all this this bumpiness. But still minor craters. I'm not sure how far away we need to go from. Like I looked at the biome map and it seemed like It seemed like the minor craters were like the craters themselves, and then around it was another biome. So I'm thinking if we drive far enough away from the crater, which again it's possible we're not driving directly away from the crater at the moment. That's our target. Whoa, zoomed in too far. Still heading toward, yeah, it's actually a bit further away than I thought it was. Hold on. Let's get rid of these arseholes. You silly bots. Surprised Nightbot didn't catch these. It might be because I've got the I've got the thing where like the links don't Twitch doesn't Twitch breaks the hyperlinks, so maybe Nightbot isn't detecting them as links. You can still hear the I think it's because we're within physics range of it still. I'd be surprised if we go outside physics range on the rover. There it is. Slight correction, so we're driving straight towards it. And we can like carefully back up towards it, so we can at least do that science, even if it's not technically in a different biome. Definitely not. Yeah, it's possible we're still on. Technically, like I think if we go to the ridge, maybe I think we can drive out of the crater. So I want to try doing that because I think maybe we're still in the crater, just at the edge of it. Because I think once you leave the crater, it becomes a different biome. But I have a feeling that these surface features are like once per planet rather than once per biome, so we don't need to find one of these. Yeah, assuming it's a surface feature, which I think it will be. I don't know if it's one which needs the arm or one which you get a sample from, but let's make this, hopefully make this rover journey worthwhile. Yeah, I think we are heading out of the crater towards the edge of the crater because we're losing speed when we so we must be heading uphill. It'll be something to watch out for. On the way back, will tend to be accelerating. Nearly there. The question is, I think what we do is because I don't think this isn't the kind of like a rock that you can pick up. I think this is definitely a surface scannable feature. So if we slow down, rotate around. I wonder if we can do control point backwards for the rover body. Okay, right. Control point reversed. So I wonder if nope. Control point reversed doesn't actually change the actual wheel control, so that's fine then. We can just back it up. Maybe we can do multiple of these, because we have our scientist with us. So I guess if we... It's probably close enough, I think. Hit the brakes, and... Might as well get a little photo up here. And let's see if this thing actually works. So, scan wrinkle ridge. So can we transfer this? You can transfer data to here, and then we scan it again. Come back later with a better sensor. Okay. I guess that's why you have like the better scanning arms. And then we'll do one more scan. This with our scientists can get a sample. Might be a... I'll give it a try. We'll keep this. We will get him to leave his seat. He will fall over, face plant into the mud, knock the rover around, and we shall he shall take this data. You'll keep it on him. Can he do anything with this? Maybe he has to stand on it. I don't think so. I think the surface sample is I think this is purely for yeah, I think this is purely for scanning arm purposes, so we shall carry on. Return to the car. Board it. Then we shall see which direction we want to go, because I think we want to head towards what I think is the edge of the, because this looks like a big old crater. So if we head, I think a bit further up, I think we might be able to just edge our way, like get a little bit out of it. So again, this thing thinks the brakes are on, but they're not. So we shall carry on. Don't want to go too mad, but reminds me of when I was trying to drive a rover on the Mun over the mountains near the poles, and it was not fun because it was in the dark, and yeah, and if you messed it up, it was quite easy for it to yeah, it's quite easy for it to damage itself because it had like solar panels and stuff which got easily damaged. I think that was because I had it was my career mode save. I had a rescue mission for a Kerbal called Matt Kerman who was stranded on the surface of the Mun, like near the pole, and I wasn't as confident with targeted landing, so I sent a rover called the Munbus, which I did actually get within 2 kilometers of the landing site. And the plan was to try and like drive him down to a more equatorial latitude, so that it would be easier to land something to pick him up. But eventually, I kind of gave up, found somewhere flat enough where we could pick him up, and then did a targeted landing there with an unmanned like return craft. Oh, we're in the Highlands. We're in a new biome. We're in a new biome. Cool. Right. Let's park up and do science. Okay. So. Right. Okay. So the brakes are inverted. That's fine. So wait, does this thing move faster if the brakes are off? Anyway, let's see if we can't. Transfer it into that. Log seismic data. Transfer it into there. Did we do pressure already? Log pressure data. Transfer it into there. Log gravity data. Transfer it into there. And then log temperature data. Transfer it into there. Cool now. Excuse me. So now I have him leave seat, and hopefully not. Okay, he's going to be doing our science jobby. So he's going to be restore this, restore this. Still within physics range. Then we do everything again. So we conduct material study, keep it, transfer it to here this time. Surface 3 go. And then we do all the reusable ones. Log pressure data. Keep it. Transfer it into here. We want the gravity data. keep it, transfer it into there. We want the temperature, keep it, and then transfer it into there. Then we switch to Macfred, who will then restore these because we can get one more set of data out of this stuff. I do want to see actually if you can do a if you can do a crew report from. I don't think you can. So it would make sense to do our. I can't remember if let's do EVA reports. Definitely biome specific. Is a surface sample biome specific? It is. Yes, cool. So we'll do that. We will store these. Only 2 of them will go in. EVA report. Surface sample. Store them in here. Again, only 2 will go in. And we do the same again. So EVA report and surface sample. And then we do, actually I think we can just have him do everything here. So we log, take, conduct material study, collect, restore, observe goo, collect, restore, wait, let's review data, what we've got so far. Goo, ridge scan, seismic scan. So we've done the seismic, so we want to do the pressure data, which we want to take. We want the gravity data, which we want to take. And then we want the temperature, which we also want to take. So we should have 7 plus 2 there. Might as well plant our flag here. Just to say that we've recorded some science from this biome. So it's Highlands. So I wonder if we've gone straight into Highlands or if we passed through Midlands. I think we've probably gone straight into the Highlands. Cool, right, we've done a flag. So let's reboard, and we'll head back towards the thing and we'll keep an eye out and see if we do drive through another biome. If we do, then we'll pick up more data. If not, then, well, we've got 2 landing sites worth of data. I think that's probably... So do we go, like, faster if we don't have the brakes on? Because I think we were slowing down because of the brakes. So we want to head back towards the ship because we don't want to be on here too long. So I'm expecting that we'll start gaining speed as we're heading down now. Basically, once we're back into the minor craters, we just gun it for the lander. I say gun it, we're not going to travel too fast because otherwise it'll flip over. But we've done a bit of a drive. We've driven to a second biome, which I think is what we wanted to do. So we managed to land pretty close to the edge of a biome. Yeah, we're back in minor craters. So I think it's just like minor craters straight to Highlands. So I think we'll just worry about getting back to the lander. We'll keep it to about 4 meters per second. So yeah, I think we were driving with the brakes on previously. Yeah, I don't think you can do crew. I think you need an actual command module to do a crew report. Just like, you know, clip through the rocks. Going uphill now. So yeah, we head back to our thing. We will attempt to do takeoff and just get into orbit. And then focus on the rendezvous. Again, like the upper stage has that weird thing of the spark engines where it doesn't think it has any delta V, but it should do. Because we had that on, I'm not sure it was Duna or Ike, but one. Oh, no, I think it was Duna. May have been Ike as well, actually. Like it just doesn't, for some reason, it doesn't think the upper stage has any delta V in it when it should do. We will find out, because if it doesn't, then we'll crash because we don't have enough delta V in the lower stage to get into orbit. I guess that'd be the thing, is like would be to leave a lower stage, because that way, if there isn't any, if the upper stage doesn't work, then at least we don't crash, and we should have enough delta V in the upper stage to get into orbit. And because I mean, in theory, I mean, we can check Kerbal engineer Redux, but there should be like 2,000 delta V in that upper stage. Yes, it's proving a lot less flip happy than the old one was. But there is our ship. So we've been out for a little excursion, a little drive around. We shall leave the rover behind. So I'll double check Kerbal Engineer Redux to make sure that it does think we have delta V in that top stage. But we should do, because again, that upper stage should be all we need for getting back to orbit. Because we should have plenty of TWR as well, and then we leave the entire landed thing on the surface, which was kind of the idea originally. Yeah, we aim for 90. And then once we're in orbit, we just need to worry about rendezvousing with the mothership, and then we can see when our return window is, and oof, slow it down a bit, mate. We're getting a lot closer to the so we shall park up nearby. And then we shall again, we'll see what the okay, let's slow it down and then hit the brakes. Cool, we have arrived back. So we'll do is we'll get Macfred to leave his seat and go for a little wander, because he's going to put his data in the command module, and he's just going to go and sit in there. And then once we're aboard, we'll check what Kerbal Engineer Redux thinks about the because he currently has a load of data on him, so he grabs a hold and he climbs all the way back up. Steady as he goes. So yeah, about 900 meters away was another biome. I assume he's slow because he's carrying data, or is it just like maybe the data is heavy. Okay, so if we do this and we say store experiments, and we'll just have him jump in because we don't need a scientist to. Cool. Let's see what Kerbal Engineer Redux has to say about the vessel. Delta V. Yeah, 2000 Delta V in the second stage. In stage 0, so we should be fine. Yeah, I'll do it as I intended. So we'll launch the second stage from here. Before we do that, flag, rover. Right. So before we do that, we will grab our engineer, who will leave his seat. He will wander over to the back and grab one set of the data. Which you will then take 9 of these datas, pop it in one of the jobbies. Again, I'm pretty sure we have enough TWR on the upper stage that we should be able to launch with it. Again, I mean, we either don't go anywhere or we. Okay, if it doesn't have more than one Delta V, like TWR, then it's not going to go anywhere when we launch it. But I'm pretty sure it does have more than one, so we should be able to get it into orbit relatively easily. So we store 9 experiments in there. Clamber aboard. We then transfer this, or attempt to transfer it to here. Only 9 of those should be transferred. Yes, there's still 10 in that. At which point we then flag experiments rover. At which point our illustrious mission commander will leave his seat, wander around to the back, grab the last of the science, the last set of the science data. We shall now leave our little rover. It has served us well on the surface of Moho, and it shall live happily ever after here. It's got one set of science left. It's got one set of non-repeatable experiments in it, so we can always try having a go transmitting or like taking it to a different biome if we want to. But again, like, you know, there's no real need to. We grab and we climb very slowly. And yeah, then we're done on the surface of Moho. At least for now. Like, we will probably be back here at some point with some kind of permanent either orbital or landed base, or roaming base, or some sort of base. So he's going to shove the experiments in there. So there are now 19 data in here. There should be 19 data in there, and 19 data in the other one. Lots of oh, you can't take the data from there, but there you go. And board. So we're all aboard. Again, this thing seems to be gassed. What does it say? Delta V stats. There we go. Thrust to weight ratio 2.68. Brilliant. Again, 2000 delta V, which is way more than we should need to get into orbit. It's like 800 to get into orbit. So yeah, we need to keep an eye on where 90 is roughly. But yeah, so these should all be off. These should all be deactivated. So if we hit, yeah, that shouldn't do anything. We will hit 1 so that we retract all of our. Oh yeah. We are on lander. We want to hit 1 so we retract all of our ladders. And we shall leave the hopefully leave the oh yeah, we'll make sure to rotate this out of the way. Don't need it anymore. Just to make sure it's well, target angle is 0. Just that's not gonna like. Right, these will become automated, so these will all expand. Right, so where is our mothership? So our mothership is at an altitude of 26 kilometers. So we kind of want to aim for about an altitude of 20. So yeah. What does this thing think it is? Yeah, it's lander. Cool. So yeah, it's just gone past us. So I'm wondering if we wait for it to come back around, or if we just get into an orbit and then worry about the. I think like get into an orbit and worry about rendezvous later. So yeah, so we want to be aiming for about 90. So if we hit spacebar now, we should. Burning until our apparatus is about 20 kilometers. Step. MechJeb. Maneuver planner. Circularize create node. Cool. Should hopefully get us to circularize, and the game actually thinks we have delta V, which is good. I was worried about that because it was kind of annoying for maneuvers that it was always saying previously that But now we have left our little lander base behind. I feel like again worthy of another photo up there. Minute to do a 22-second burn to circularize. We should have like 1,000 delta V left, so that should be plenty to do our rendezvous with. Oh crap. And now it thinks we don't have any burn time. I forgot to reset that to 50%. It was 22-second burn, wasn't it? So we want to go about 11 seconds. Yeah, it's done that thing again where it's decided it doesn't have any delta V. So yeah, 11 seconds, wasn't it? They are 20 kilometer circular orbits, so that should hopefully be enough to, yeah, that's hopefully a nice safe orbit to be in, and then yeah, we can worry about our rendezvous with the KSS Icarus. Set as target. Okay, those ascending and descending nodes are not bad actually, so so at the moment they're ahead of us, which means that we're going to catch up with them. So so we're going faster than they are, so I've got 52 seconds, which isn't great, but so it's 26 kilometers. What happens if we add an orbit to this? There you go. 14.631. 10, 10, 9, 2, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.8, 1.5, 1.3, 1.0, 0.7, 0.4 on the daylight side. That works for us. 4.4 meters per second burn. Into relative speed of 4.4 meters per second. And we can just do a nice sort of easy docking maneuver. And again, I can try and figure out how we actually fix these, but I think the game is going to continuously decide that we so it doesn't tell us what the burn time is, which is kind of annoying, but given it's such a small amount, it's going to be a matter of a few seconds, so we can probably just do it at about the yeah, it should be fine. And then hopefully this thing should have a probe course. When we're done with it, we can actually deorbit it as well. Cool, let's, so yeah, yeah. It's one of the annoying things, but I think it's these spark engines, like, they just get a bit confused. We're already 16 kilometers away. And that is some debris of some kind. Okay, so we'll go down to about 5 seconds too, and then just do this burn over the course of about 10 seconds, I think. And we should, I mean, like, this thing rotates really quickly, so we should be able to have a lot of control over our actual final approach. Okay, go down to 5 and then we'll do this. So intersect one of 173 meters. That is absolutely fine. And then we can do, yeah. Well, that's in 18. That's in 17 minutes. Again, like 173, that should be fine. But like our relative velocity is going to end up being about 4 meters per second, so we can. Again, still got 10 minutes to go. I think we can probably afford to pull our prograde towards it actually. So what we're going to do is we're going to aim over here, and then by burning we pull our prograde onto target, and we can go up to about 10 meters per second. This will hopefully. There we go. And then we're about to switch around to retrograde. And we just keep it out in the distance. Like again, our target velocity is like we're currently traveling slower than our ideal like approach velocity for this distance, so we just wait and sort of like capture the deceleration slope. Again, no need to rush this. Lining it up so that you just nudge retrograde onto the target, onto anti-target. Sorry, so you're traveling towards it. You'll try and rotate the docking so that the docking hatches are aligned with each other, which will become a lot easier in when Kerbal gets updated, which I believe the final update to the base game of Kerbal Space Program is apparently going ahead on the 24th, which obviously when the base game updates there may be some compatibility issues with mods, and I've got a lot of mods installed, but I'm actually going to be like away from my computer for about a week starting 24th of June anyway, so it should give about a week and a half for hopefully the important mods to hopefully get updated, or at least be marked as compatible with the final version. And after that point, I don't think the game's getting updated anymore, so in theory mods should no longer go out of compatibility. I'm trying a little bit fast for our distance at the moment. Yes, hopefully by the time like I'm back from that kind of like week and a half off, I should be able to just update all the mods and continue this. But if not, then it might be a case of like waiting a bit longer for before being able to continue. But we shall see, because I think they're adding they're adding a they're adding a few bits. Like I think they're basically adding the alarm clock mod and the maneuver planning thing as well into the base game, which I'm looking forward to. It'd be good to see the base game version of that. I wonder if they'll probably like maybe release like updates going forward, like minor updates just to fix bugs and stuff. Because obviously they're introducing a bunch of new features, so presumably there are going to be a few bugs. Okay, I don't think I put that much RCS on this thing. I mean, there's some RCS in the base thing, but it should just be an easy docking thing anyway. We just point at each other and then I go forwards to this thing, and hopefully we just drift together and dock. Or I dock with that ship using RCS maybe. Either way. Get to about, well, 50 meters I think. But yeah, if we can use the fuel in this thing to dock, that would be more useful. 3, 2, 1, stop. Okay, I think we can use the RCS on the other one to... oh, hang on. Let's control from here. Let's point at target. Let's... and let's point you at target. Right, so where is our door? Our door is there. Cool. We should leave these guys. Again, lacking. I don't think we have a RCS port to go forward and back, do we? We do not. So this is going to be a case of... Actually, what we can do is we can reduce the thrust limiter down. 14.5. 14.5. 14.5, there we go. Should give us a bit more fine control over our relative velocity. There you go, 0, right, point to target. Cool, and we want to rotate ourselves so that our door's on roughly the same side, which it should be. And we just start drifting ourselves towards, and hopefully now we should just connect up. And our door is there, their door is there. Can rotate slightly. Hopefully this shouldn't be as laggy as it was before. Again, as long as we're travelling vaguely towards it, we should be fine. What I can do is I can, still 20 meters away, we can kill our relative speed again. Let everything stabilize. And then our door is... Alright, let's rotate again so that our doors are roughly aligned. And then... that should be fine. 0.3 meters per second is the... our prograde and target are lined up enough that we should get within magnet distance of this. And we just let them, hopefully just let them kiss. There we go, and then hopefully the doors should be nicely aligned. And then hopefully they should just snap together nicely. And then we have done a successful Moho landing. Then all we need to do is get this big ass ship back to Kerbin. Well, we need to refuel it first, but there we go. And we have docked. That's definitely worthy of a picky. Cool. Right. So before we do anything else, let's open you up, and let's do the transfer data to you. Transfer data to you. So these should have some. These should have 43 data and 45 data. Ooh, there's more data in this one. Interesting. Very well. There should still be some data in here. 5 data in there, and then 19 data in there. So what we will do now is we will sort out the repair kits. So might as well stick the repair kits in here because we may well need them. Actually, I think, yeah, might as well. Nothing to weigh that much. That might be useful. Do that. We'll transfer Macfred and Barrowman, and we'll transfer Lando by EVA because he's the we will give Lando his EVA pack in case he needs it. We will then transfer Macfred, who is our scientist, I believe, so he's going back in the science lab. We will transfer Barrowman to the yep, makes sense. And then we will get Lando, and he shall EVA. He will take this data. Maybe he's close enough to store data in here. He's not. Can you get close enough? No, you can't. Well, he will let go. He will turn on RCS. He will not float away. He will just very gradually drift on over to here. He'll grab on. Now he's grabbed on, he will store 19 experiments, and then he shall board. And all is well. So we have the repair kits on board here. We have data in there. So 24 data in here. 45 data in here, 43 data in there. So we will close this. We've done with that. We have nobody in here. We've got the experiment kit, which we don't need. We have these, which are now all empty, no experiments in them. We've got everything we need. So there's no equipment in there we need. Let's give borrow the thing back. Let's give Macfred his thing back in case they need it. But again, nothing in here. We've got some repair kits, which again might be useful. Yeah, so I think we're done with the return module of the lander. So we will quickly whap these back up to 100% power because we want to wallop this into the surface to collect seismic data. But again, we've got our two pilots in here, the engineer in here, and our two scientists in here. So yeah, we're done. So let's undock the lander module, which we shall ease ourselves away slightly, staying in our nice little safe orbit. We shall close the shield. We shall switch to the Sphinx. Once we are clear, we should have probe control of it. Shall go normal. We shall go retro. Where are we in relation to our deployed science? That's deployed science, isn't it? So our deployed science is there, so I reckon, yeah, this is probably like reasonably. Yeah, let's just deorbit it here. We do. We shall turn the lights off. There are no crew in here anymore, and we will salute as the brave lander capsule descends. Let's have a look. Landing mode, time to impact. 1 minute 55 seconds. And it doesn't know what to do with the suicide burn. Okay. 30 seconds to impact. Job done. Turn off landing mode. And we will go to the Space Center. Why not? Yes, Space Center. That was a successful landing. We got some science points from that. And we are 10 past 8, so it's an hour in. That's fine. So, we also have a few bits to do around Moho before we return. So we do have a bit of a refueling job to do. But again, there's no... we'll see how much of a rush there is, because we want to see Moho origin Kerbal 67 days to the transfer window. So that is our target, 67 days. So we're going to be on our way back from Moho before we're on our way back from Duna. Which, to be expected. Moho's in a much smaller orbit, so it's going to be, it'll be swinging around to transfer windows quite a lot faster. We have 1 day and 5 hours, so I think we've got enough time for like one test launch of, so yeah, we'll get to work on so we're going to have like 1 day of test launching. And then we're just going to go for Eve. So, the first thing we're going to do is double check for a few things in the VAB. So we want to see if the communication satellites have enough delta V to do the insertion orbit in. So basically, I plotted out Comnet orbits for Eve and Gilly. So we need to see if what we currently have is able to do the job. So if we go to the advanced section and look at the sub-assemblies, and we want I think it's the RA15 ComSat. Yes, it's this thingy. What does Kerbal engineer Redux think of our delta V? It thinks there is no delta V. That is useful. Let's try. Where is the? Where are the? Okay, I think it's because it's a sub-assembly. Well, never mind then. Do we have a RA15 concept? Let's have a look. Let's load up the Duna concept for a second. Because this is what we're thinking of. Also, I'm thinking of launching to Eve. Again, 6 satellites. That's free and free. Again, we're able to get most of this into it. Okay, what Redux thinks of the... Oh yeah, these are all... Okay, so in terms of delta V for... Let's have a look at the delta V map, if I can actually make it out. I think this is the that's the yeah, so the full one now. So yeah, Eve is what, 9:30. We don't want to land on Eve. We want to take off from Eve at some point. But yeah, I'm trying to look at this on my little preview screen. It's not very easy to read. I'll say low Eve orbits Kerbal SOI should be 1930. So as long as we have a few like I think it's a similar amount of delta V to get to. Looking for a game to stream. Similar amount of delta V for Kerbal. So stage 7 in theory gets us into orbit. And we then have 4,000 delta V from low Kerbal orbit, which should be enough. Interestingly, stage. Oh yes, yeah, stage. Yeah, stage 8, stage. Oh no, this is weird. Maybe we need to fix these because I think maybe we. Yeah, propellants are wrong. Next propellant, liquid hydrogen. We want liquid fuel propellant. Yeah, okay, that makes more sense. So we're going like 7,000 delta V now. So yeah, and then in theory these should all be liquid fuel, right? Oh no, okay, yeah. Yeah, this is because we did this before we did we had the mod, so these are all liquid fuel, aren't they? Yeah. So liquid fuel and oxidizer. There you go, it's like 9,000. Yeah, it should be plenty. And then again, I don't remember what these have in terms of in terms of delta V. I mean, they probably have enough, but I'm not sure. What I want to do is what I'll do is I will not as useful now. I will save this as Eve ComSat. Because this should have enough delta V for Eve and Gilly. Yeah, so yeah, so we save this. I want to try rerouting so that like this is the root part, and then I want to disconnect this. 1,000 delta V, that's fine then. Yeah, that's way more than we need. Cool, so let's do new. Oh no, I want new. Don't save. So, give me a second to sneeze. Not sure I'm gonna sneeze. It's hanging. There it is. So it's kind of an annoying like sneeze where it's sort of like hanging on the edge of wanting to go, and you're like, the minute you actually like try and make time for it, it's like, no, I don't want to. Well, I'm not going to do it now. It's like a cat. Cool. Yeah. So Eve, Eve sample return is going to be our goal today. Well, at least for the rest of the stream, we're going to start designing the sample return mission for Eve. So the idea is it's unmanned. We send it in addition to this Comnet mission. So once we've got the Comnet satellite set up, we should be able to do this unmanned Eve mission. Plan will be to essentially like send a single thing which will have the multiple components. We're going to try and use heat shields and to aerobrake around Eve, which again, like it will probably go horrendously wrong, but yeah, the plan is to try and save fuel costs because we're going to be trying to land a rocket capable of launching from Eve, which itself is a challenge, and we're going to have time to do like one test. So my plan is to try and design something capable of a rocket capable of taking off from the surface of Eve, building a lander around that rocket with science equipment attached to the lander, with the idea of we do like science on the way down as we're sort of parachuting down. We then land, we do either splashdown or we land on the surface. We do science on the surface, we collect it all up into the return vessel. The return vessel launches into orbit of Eve and rendezvous with the orbital return vehicle, which will be launched as part of the main ship. So there's basically like multiple stages to this. So there'll be like an aero capture stage where we aero capture into like a 150 kilometer orbit. Then at 150 kilometers, we detach the return vessel, which will be essentially just something to get the science back to Kerbal and straight into the atmosphere and land. And then we detach that, we leave that in orbit, and then we deorbit the entire thing. Hopefully do like Eve entry, Eve landing, Eve takeoff again. So the first thing we need to do is to build a rocket capable of returning from Eve with ideally two science modules. So this is gonna, like, Eve is the most difficult planet to take off from, or at least like the most difficult planet that you can land on to take off from, because it requires 8K delta V, and its atmosphere at surface level, it has higher gravity than Kerbal. Its atmosphere at surface level is higher pressure than Kerbal, so rocket engines are less efficient. Which means that like some engines, like the Terrier, will not work at all. So obviously we want to build a module. So we want essentially like the smallest module we can that will, once in orbit, be able to do a rendezvous. Which is probably going to need I'm thinking a shielded nose cone, but I'm thinking maybe like the mod part version of the nose cone, like maybe not this one. No. Like this one. Yeah, so like that. Because hopefully this should be nice and aerodynamic. We then want a payload thing of some variety, which is probably going to be like a 1.25 meter service bay. If we can store our actually we'll grab a Z1K battery bank. We will grab this. We see if we can fit 2 science containers on it, which again will be a bit of an ask. And that totally fits. So yeah, we have our 2 science things. So the question is, can we make something here which will have 8K of delta V? At the moment, we're going to have, like, this is going to be our upper stage, which yeah, so we're going to do like vacuum for initially. We also want some maneuvering thrusters as well. The question is, does it make more sense to have the maneuvering thrusters on the orbital rendezvous vehicle? I think that's probably going to make more sense, because otherwise we're bringing extra weight down. So basically, we get this thing into a circular orbit, then we have the other thing rendezvous with it using RCS. And that we can have, like, the other thing can have hopefully as much delta V as it needs to get back, because it's like we're going to be making use of aero braking here. So we have this stuff. Probably want a couple of solar panels for when we land. Well, actually, when we're in orbit, because we don't want to run out of power. We also need a fairly decent. Again, we can put that on the body of the final stage, actually. So these here. So we want a fuel tank. This one Let's see what this, plus again a Terrier if we can get this into orbit. 3,233. So if we can get this thing above the atmosphere, again this thing isn't very heavy, so yeah, if we stick a communication dish on the side, so the minute we're out of the atmosphere we can we don't need two of these, we only use one. Cool, so that's 3,000 meters per second of delta V, which I reckon is probably good. So the idea is we're going to try and get this above the atmosphere and into vacuum. So the next stage down, we don't want this to be too long either. So I'm thinking of the next stage down, we just try and do let's see what we can do with. So we go for like sea level, and this will be 0 because at sea level the Terrier engine does not produce thrust. It's basically like what's the term? I think it's like when the atmospheric pressure is too much that that it just pushes in on the rocket flame. So one possibility is to use, because again this thing isn't very heavy, we could probably use aerospikes, because aerospikes are pretty good efficiency wise, both for like atmospheric flight and for vacuum. So it's probably like, so I'm wondering if maybe we can have like a asparagus staged aerospike based rocket essentially. So we'll try with this, because again we don't want this to be too long, we'd rather it be wide than long. So we grab this, we grab an engine, which would be the aerospike, like so. See what this is like. See, not enough, doesn't even have enough TWR. Alternatively, we can get the this thing, which, because these so the aerospike only has like 180 kilonewtons or 153, so it's probably got like less than that in the ISP at what's it like with the vector? So I'm wondering if it's worth having the because it might be that, because that's like 1,000, that's 1,000, which isn't, it's not a lot, but we might be able to make that better. So coupling wise, if we want a where's our detachment manifold? Because maybe this will work better with multiple aerospikes, or we can have vectors on the outside. Because we've got 1,359 at the moment. Let's grab just the reference point. We just want these. We want these at full symmetry. So we have a reference. We have a reference for placing these things, which will be at 2 symmetry. But again, actually no, we want to build the actual booster before we do anything else. So we want another of these fuel tanks. Let's move them down. And let's go back to place mode. Let's stick 2 of these on. These will go at the same time, then we lose these. Okay, we've got just over. Let's have a look and see about adding another. Well, actually, we don't have that much TWR, so let's try and again we're going to need aerodynamic nose cones on these, and we're also going to need fins. Quite right, can you? Maybe we can get these to line up. There we go, they're lined up. Again, 2000 delta V 1.11. So now go back to place mode, back to our fuel tanks. We then, so these are the first to go, so these go into these go into here, and then these go into the center. Look, so we have 1.11 isn't amazing. But again, we're still like we're still only at the 1.25 meter thing. So I mean, ideally, I want this thing to fit inside a 5 meter like a 5 meter fairing. So the question is, 1.11, 0.05, and then 0.83. I wonder if it's worth popping that vector on the middle. Nah, it's even less. Because obviously efficiency goes roughly up with altitude, but I'm wondering if it's worth just going to a wider base. Because again, this thing is so I'm wondering if it's worth going like straight to the the slightly wider, not this one. Yeah, the slightly wider, like this kind of fuel tank here. I don't think you get much in terms of, because you can use an engine plate, but I don't think you'll be able to fit that many. You might be able to fit like 3 of these on there. So let's go. quite work, does it? 1200, but you do get 1.76. They don't quite fit though, do they? I always tend to try, do the vectors fit there? Not really. I don't think we've got anything small that works at that works decently at least not well enough to lift the damn thing. I mean, if we can get this thing above the atmosphere, then we're gonna got like 3,000 delta V in this. Again, the question is, I want to do this, but I don't want to do it with too much height, because again, we have to try and land this thing. We have to have this thing be able to take off, and if it's too top heavy, then it'll just fall over. I'm thinking it's probably better to go with the more insane staging here, because again, I'd rather it be why bothering doing that? Okay, I don't want it to be too much taller than this, is the thing. But I don't think a wide... Do we have any... what SRBs do we have? Again, these have about 150 kilonewtons, and these have more, but they do weigh a bit as well. $297 level. 250. Definitely go anything that's better than that. I think 250 is probably the best we have at surface level, isn't it? Oh no, 265. I was only at 290. I don't think we have anything that's more than 300 at surface level, do we? I'm just wondering if maybe we can maybe we can asparagus the asparagus. feeling that these won't necessarily play well together, will they? Oh no, that's not what I wanted. Okay, right, so remove this. Pop this on like directly outward. Then duplicate. Like so, but instead of going into there, this goes into here. And these are all going to want to go at the same time. Don't want these. And we don't want this either. This is old news. So, all the engines go, then we want all of the outer ones to go. And then we want these ones to go. What is that? Like 1200, well, so yeah, about 12, yeah, about 1200, about 1200, 2200, 32, 3500. This looks a bit odd, doesn't it? Yeah, those aren't lined up. What? No, you go here. Again, I don't want to go that much, much wider than this is the thing. And again, if we get high enough up in the atmosphere off of these, then we get like 3000 delta V out of this. So again, assuming we're on 3000, we're already at 6000. So the question is, can we can stick enough, like, these things aren't great. We don't have any like short, we have these hammers, but again, I don't think they'll be particularly useful. We can try it. I don't think these will give us much of a kick off the ground, basically. I guess unless we like try not to aim for a splashdown. But again, like there's no guarantee we're going to land anywhere flat, so I don't want to splash down. But I don't want to splash down with a really tall rocket. These aren't really adding anything, are they? Again, this doesn't help with the TWR issues, does it? Well, it helps with TWR, it doesn't help with ISP. Yeah. And again, we don't really want that much TWR anyway, because we're just going to end up fighting the atmosphere otherwise. So again, at the moment, we have a ground total of 3689, which goes up to 8605 if we get into. So there might be enough here. Like, I'm willing to chance it. Like, I'm willing to give this a go. So 666 meters per second, then 622, then 1. So at this point, hopefully we should be most of the way out of the atmosphere. But I don't want to go much wider than this, because otherwise we will risk. We're going like it's short, it's wide. It might do the job. We want to build a, like on the one hand, we want to build a landing thing at the bottom, so that we also need some fins which should go there actually. Because what's our aerodynamics and center of mass like at the moment? Yeah, center of mass is quite low. We don't actually have any aerodynamics at the moment, but we can fix that with. I mean, it was quite so big fins, so we don't have much drag. Let's have a look and see what we look at. 8430. So again, there's not a lot of leeway here. But if the goal is just to get into orbit, then maybe we can. Again, if it fails, it fails. But like we shall try. Again, we're not putting any Kerbals on this, so it shouldn't be the end of the world if it does go tits up. So the thing we do now is we build essentially like a landing platform thing, which may be most easily achieved with a payload fairing. It does not fit within a 5-meter fairing, which is not the best thing. But this is going to be on the end of our rocket, so it can be a bit wider than 5 meters if it needs to be. Where is the... So... Alright. Again, this thing is literally just going to have the actually, make more sense to get a TD25 decoupler here. Shove the tube. This is going to have the lower heat shield on it, which will inflate to this size. I want to fit some like tanks and stuff on the route, on like either empty tanks or empty fuselages, probably empty tanks. So we want these to be empty. These are going to be flotation devices. Oh yeah, we don't want them attached to there anyway. We want these to be attached to here. Because we want this thing to drop. We want this thing to drop down between them. Structural. Yeah, not perfect. Ideally, we want these to be like full symmetry anyway. Again, not too big an issue if they clip into each other. So this is going to be an unstaged fairing. place the... so this is going to be where our landed science is done. So we have a Science Junior, which again we don't want two of them. Which we then whap down and in, like so. We want to stick some landing legs on here as well in case this thing lands on the ground. We also want the those as well. We do want landing legs just in case. Ground, big old landing legs. We can then strut this up some. So again, I hope this thing actually is able to land in the water and stay upright, which again, actually I do want to stick some don't mind any structural piece. Stick these here. Let's rotate these so that these don't interfere, like so. We then grab some power and then hopefully some reaction wheels to stabilize. Move these down like so, and hopefully these can actually like help to oh yeah, we can also add some photovoltaics as well. Okay. This will hopefully be our little landing pad. Now to figure out a way of attaching the top bit here, because we need a parachute rig. We need it's gone 9 o'clock, so actually, so I might save what we have so far. So the next stage will be a parachute rig and also a top level one of these heat shields, because general idea is that we detach these. Yeah, so because we need heat shield on top and bottom, so that we when we come in, we have equal drag from both ends. Essentially, is the idea. And then, yeah, we detach the top heat shield, deploy the parachutes, then detach the bottom heat shield, splash down, all land. Then we detach the parachute rig with SRBs, hopefully. But yeah, we'll save this as EVE sample return, and hope that we can actually like build this thing. But we will save what we currently have, and we shall continue working on it next time. But yes, this is hopefully going to be the successful. Well, so we'll find out if it works. Again, like we're being a bit conservative with the delta V. We might not have enough delta V to get back to orbit, but we might be all right because we need like a very efficient launch profile, which I don't know we'll be able to do on EVE. But yeah, we'll save this and we shall head back to the KSP, the KSC. Because yeah, we had a relatively successful thing. We managed to do the Roverdrive on Moho. We managed to launch the Moho return phase, dock it. So now, like, all we need to do there is refuel that thing and wrong one. Yes, to refuel is to do the refueling of that thing, and then we'll hit the return window. So yeah, we will save. We shall go back to the menu, and yeah, so so actually the next few days are going to be a bit awkward because I'm busy Thursday, I'm busy next Monday, and then the following Thursday I am away from my computer, etc. So I'm not going to be able to stream anyway. So I will try and fit a stream in at some point over the weekend. And I will try and do a stream on Tuesday of next week. Just sort of make up for the Monday one, and hopefully we can do some something interesting there. But yeah, so if you've been watching, thanks for watching. If you're watching on YouTube, then like and subscribe, etc. And yeah, hopefully we'll see you at some point soon. Again, probably maybe this weekend, maybe Sunday. I don't know. It depends on whether I find time. Things are getting busier now with everything kind of reopening, so. Yeah, might not get a chance, but hopefully in a couple of weeks' time, I'll put myself on holiday mode anyway. And in a couple of weeks' time, I'll hopefully be like able to get back to continuing our adventures because we've got to get a bunch of Kerbals back, and we've got this EVE mission I want to do as well. So, anyway, thank you very much, and yeah, cheerio.